Thank you for patiently waiting. Now we're gonna get right into it. Now, one thing that you realize that two things that impact everyone, whether you are interested in them or not, is health and money. Now, I remember about 10 years ago, I was doing a group assignment in a civil engineering class, and we had to basically design a road. So in order to do that, we would need to know how many vehicular traffic is passing on that particular road. So we used the University of Technology for that example. Now, a number of us discussed the type of vehicles coming in and out of the University of Technology, with students driving BMWs, Benz, Audis, and we pretty much wondered, how could a student afford such luxury? Now, with some of us having to pay student loans, some of us barely managing day-to-day expenses, we were wondering. Now, one group member mentioned it could have been purchased by their parents. And we carried on in discussing the huge income that these particular parents must have been receiving, compared to ours, of course. Everyone has a different relationship with money, which is quite evident in our everyday life. Morgan Housel talks about two persons in his book, The Psychology of Money. A tech exec who was a genius, he designed and patented a key component in Wi-Fi routers. Now, he had started off several other companies and was a huge success. He carried money in high stacks and showed it to everyone while bragging openly and loudly about his wealth. One day, he gave a person several $1,000s and asked them to go to a jewelry store and change them in some 1,000 gold coins. When the tech exec received the gold coins, he and his friends gathered around the dock and proceeded to throw the gold coins in the sea, skipping them like rocks, arguing whose went the furthest. Now, you may wonder, how long would this behavior last? And the answer is not very long. The tech exec went broke. Having or getting money doesn't mean you know how to keep it. And that is where true wealth lies, in how much money you are able to keep while still maintaining a comfortable and favorable lifestyle. Now, there is this other man that Morgan Housel spoke about. His name is Ronald Read. He was the first person in his family to graduate high school. He fixed cars at a gas station for 25 years, swept floors at JCPenney for 17 years, and bought a house at age 38. He got married and he lived his life there until he was widowed at age 50, and he never remarried. Now, with such an active job, it kept him in good health because he died at age 92 in 2014. This is when this humble rural janitor made international news. 2.8 million Americans died in 2014. Fewer than 4,000 of them had a net worth of $8 million when they passed away. Ronald Read was one of them. He willed $2 million to his stepkids and more than $6 million to the local hospital and library. Persons were baffled as to where he got all this money. And it turned out to be no secret. There was no lottery win and no inheritance. He saved what little he could and invested smartly. Then he waited decades on end as this tiny investment compounded and compounded into $8 million. And just like that, the janitor turned into a philanthropist. Now, we were taught we had to be born with a gold or silver spoon in our mouth. We have to be smart. We have to have many degrees to achieve success and wealth, when actually that isn't really necessarily the case. Now, it's all in your mindset. There is no one size fits all. And as Robert Kiyosaki said, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth, which is why we're here today. A great day to you all. It is indeed a pleasure having you here. My name is Sheree Henry, and I will be your moderator and also one of your speakers today. We will be having 3 other exceptional speakers who will be helping to educate and open your eyes to the possibilities around you. Grab a pen and a paper, or even make notes on your phone. You will be able to ask questions at the end of each speaker's presentation. The chat will be open, so feel free to correspond with the other attendees. Please be advised that this session will be recorded and a recording will be sent to you within 48 hours of the event's closure. I hope this session is of great benefit to you all as you aim to be a better you. All right? Now, what I will be talking about today is creating and maintaining financial security. So let's get right into that presentation. You'll notice throughout the presentations that there will be a pop-up of poll questions just to get an idea of your thoughts and what you're currently thinking, especially on what we're discussing. All right. Now let me see here. Let's get into that presentation right away. All right. Let me see here. All right. So if you're all seeing the screen right now, I'd just like for you to say yes, yes, yes. All right. Everybody's seeing it? All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. All right. Let me see. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Now, creating and maintaining financial security. Now, there are 3 topics we're going to cover today: the importance of having an income, the 4 cornerstones of financial security, and taking action. Now, what is income? Income is pretty much money received on a regular basis from work or through investment. We all want a steady income, not one that fluctuates because without an income, we all know we are unable to take care of basic human needs. We are not going to be able to pursue education. We can't contribute to our personal development, and we pretty much cannot indulge in any fun or recreational activities. So one question that I have for you, you'll see it popping up on the screen right now, is why do you work? I'll give you a couple seconds to answer this. Quite short, nothing too long. All right, just need to get an idea of where we're at the moment. All right. All right. Okay, let me give a few more seconds. Okay, so I see most persons are responding that they are working to receive an income. So we don't work just to have fun. We don't work to pass time. We really work to receive an income. All right. Now, there are 2 main sources of income: you at work or your money at work. And as we know, you at work means active income, and your money at work really means passive income. And as years has gone by, a lot of us have gotten a clear understanding of what passive income is. So we all prefer passive income, right? Now, there are 3 major problems in connection with the continuance of income. We don't like to talk about it, but death, especially premature death. Now, as it relates to retirement, of course, when we retire, we no longer receive an income, but we receive a pension benefit. And if God forbid, anyone who is disabled, they basically lose their earning power. They're not able to work anymore, so they're not able to gain an income. Now, majority of Jamaicans, unfortunately, do not have 6 months of income saved in case of emergencies. And this begs for me to ask another question. You'll see it popped up on your screen once more, right? But what we have noticed is that based on some research, the 2014 Global Index found out that Jamaicans could not find $28,000 in case of emergencies. 37% said that's impossible, while 22% said maybe, and another 37% stated they could, but they would have to get help from family and or friends, and then maybe their savings. So that sheds a lot of light on where our current finances are. Now, based on the poll, it also reflects what this research has said, that no, a lot of us do not have 3 to 6 months of income saved, right? And you'll see that on your screen as well. I'll share it for a few seconds, which is a bit detrimental to a lot of us in the long run, right? Because it's better to have savings for all aspects, whether it's in case you get sick, whether it's just a quick emergency, you might need to fix a car, fix something in the home, or any aspect at all. It's good to have 3 to 6 months of your income saved, right? Now, as it relates to untimely events, God forbid there is an untimely death or disability, what measures do you have in place to counteract these situations? We can't just be working for the rest of our life. There's going to be a time when we need to rest. There's going to be a time when we need to relax. So I'm going to ask yet another question, which I'll be launching on the screen right now. What plans do you have in place to secure any untimely event? All right, you can take your time to answer that. All right. Okay, I'm seeing a wide variety of options, which is good. All right, give a few more seconds to respond. All right, now, as you can see, there's a wide variety of responses. Some persons said savings, investments, health insurance, critical illness insurance, life insurance, other. Some said none, but I noticed nobody selected retirement, right? So that is something that we have to add to the loop, because it's better to have all aspects than to be missing out one, because guess what? Yes, as much as death is sure to everyone, we don't want to die young. We expect to get old, retire, and enjoy our old age. So we have to be able to enjoy our old age with a sizable retirement fund. All right. Now, if you had a money machine, right? And this money-making machine could provide this income for you by retirement, wouldn't you want to protect that money machine against breakdown? Well, that machine is you. All right. And I have one last question to ask in the polls. Just one last question. And you can see it popping up on your screen right now. All right, everybody is saying yes. Everybody's saying yes. We all want to be financially secure. All right, awesome. Everybody wants to be financially secure. All right. Now, the 4 cornerstones of financial security. That is what we're going to deal with now. Now, financial literacy isn't something that is taught to us in school, so we have to seek it on our own. Now, in order to have financial security, we must understand the financial requirements necessary to get us there. Now, financial security means different things to different people. Being financially secure takes into consideration 3 main factors: your living standards, which means what are your current needs, what are your current comforts, and how is your income able to take care of all of that? All right. Now, the second factor is financial obligations. What financial obligations do you have on a day-to-day basis? Are you going to school? Do you have children? Do you have a mortgage to pay? Things like that. Now, the third factor, which is key in all aspects when it comes on to your finances, is inflation, because you have to secure your money against inflation. Because as we all know, securing your money against inflation means that you're ensuring there is no reduction in the purchasing power of your money over time. Now, the four main cornerstones of financial security is liquidity, retirement, disability, and family security. Now, liquidity really is accomplished systematically over time, because liquidity means how much you have access to cash, how readily available you have access to cash to use in case of financial emergencies, or even to utilize in investment opportunities. Usually when investments come, you have to have ready cash. You have to be liquid, right? Now, retirement. When you're thinking about retirement, you have to think about what is your lifestyle like? How much money will you need? How will inflation impact the money that you're saving in your retirement fund? A lot of us don't really have the freedom to slow down and retire early. So if retirement is something that you consider to do early, you have to save far much more than someone, say, for example, retiring at 50 compared to someone who decides to retire at 65. The 50-year-old will have to counteract those 15 years that they could be working, that they decide that they would not be working. So time and planning is key to your retirement fund, to your retirement preparations. Now, many persons don't realize that when they retire, they will need far more money than if they were working. Now, there's this concept called the multiplier effect that you can utilize to help you to plan for your retirement. By the age of 30, you should have at least 1 year's salary saved. By the age of 35, you should have 2 times your salary saved. By the age of 40, 3 times, and so on. It goes on as soon as you add 5 years more to your age. So you have to be saving much more as you get older or closer to retirement. Now, disability. The third cornerstone, you have to consider how much coverage is enough. Does your job put you at risk? Because in most times, if your job puts you at risk, the job will provide sometimes some aspect of protection, but would it be enough? Because if disability should come your way, there will be a difficulty to maintain your retirement and savings plan. Now, consider your family history and prepare for it. Don't depend on whatever benefit your employer is providing, because if something should happen, it will not be enough. And God forbid you should lose your job, you lose all the benefit that the job is providing to you. So make sure you secure you. You have to think about you. You have to think about your dependents as well. All right. Now, as it relates to the fourth cornerstone of financial security, it is family security. What is your financial obligations to yourself or even to your family? How much income will your family need if something should happen to you? You have to set things in place to preserve and protect your estate. A lot of us don't like to discuss this, but if you are insuring a car and a house, why not insure yourself? Why not insure your children? Set up things in place to protect them from any unfavorable situations. One thing that always displeases me is when persons go on GoFundMe, they have sickly children and they have to be waiting for support from persons in order to seek professional help for their child. So while the child is waiting and getting worse in their ailment, they have to be waiting for financial help. Those things hurt me, right? And you don't want to be in a position where you have to be waiting for people to help and you cannot take action right away, especially when it comes to your health and your family, right? Now, the last section that we'll be dealing with is taking action. Creating financial security means that you have to identify your actual situation and start as soon as possible. You have to make a note of your personal and financial goals. You have to consider all potential expenses. You have to develop a plan and implement it. Now, the main thing that a lot of us we're a bit afraid to do is diversify your portfolio. We have to have a balanced financial planning. And this pretty much means don't put all your eggs in one basket. You have to put a little in everything so that in case anything should happen, you're secured at all corners of your life. Now, after doing that, you have to monitor and you have to review the plans that you have implemented. You can't just save and say, okay, it's okay. You have to be able to check on the savings. You have to be able to ensure that, yes, I can see growth and I can see where this is going. If there's no changes, then you, of course, will be able to make the necessary adjustments. Now, finally, maintaining this financial security, you have to view your savings and your investments as a recurring bill. Don't look at it as, oh, it's eating out my money. Consider it just as important as your water and light bill because we're not missing any of that. All right. Now, live below your means. When I say live below your means, it doesn't mean you must wallow in dirt. All right. It means if you know your salary has gone up, say at $20,000 extra, $50,000 extra, it doesn't mean you have to squander all that money. Start saving more, put more to your retirement, and just put more to investments. Yes, you can use some for fun and enjoyment, but don't waste it all because we're only young once. All right. Now, the best thing that you can do for your retirement, you can utilize a tax-free account for retirement savings. So it means it now go get taxed when you get old. You collect your money easy. All right. And if you're not versed on financials or financial literacy, it's always good to get help from a financial consultant, which is me. And as it relates to streams of income, you have to try and establish different streams of income. One income will not work at this time, especially now. It's best to diversify your income, diversify your portfolio. And with all that said, you have to reassess the steps that you're taking. You have to always evaluate the plans that you've made, evaluate what you've implemented, just to ensure that it is working for you. And with all that said, one key thing that I'm going to say that one of Benjamin Franklin quote is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right. So I thank you for listening. Do you have any questions for me? All right. Any questions? You can wave your hand or you can send a message in the chat. If there's no questions, then we'll go right on to the next speaker who will be talking about improving your mindset through exercising. All right. All right. How do you know how much to save versus how much to invest? Now, this is a calculation that you have to utilize. I love to utilize the budget ratio where 50% of your, 50% of your income goes to your needs, 25% goes to your wants, and 25% go to your savings. Usually, I consider retirement funding a part of my need. I don't put it into savings. So you can utilize that same ratio, 50, 25, 25%, which is 50 to needs, 25% to wants, and 25% to your savings. Of course, it's also based on your income, because if you're making much more than before, then it is always best to push more into your savings. Now, our next speaker is an exceptional young man. His name is Sheldon Harper. Lover of hikes and Mother Nature, this health and fitness instructor with over 4 years of experience will help anyone reach their fitness goals. Using practical and strict methods to get you achieving the best you, give a warm welcome to Sheldon Harper as he talks about improving your mindset by exercising and staying in shape.
Hi, Sherry. Morning. What's up? Hi, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
Not so bad. Ah, wow, you set the tone with that one, man. You know, but of course, we all have our strong suit.
Yes.
Yours is financial, mine is staying in shape and looking the best you can. Well, you said to talk, so that I will. All right. So my name is Sheldon Harper. Of course, I am a personal trainer and a life coach at Express Fitness. So I think it's safe to say that everyone knows that exercise is good, right? For you, everyone knows this. It boosts your sleep pattern, helps with depression, anxiety, stress. It even boosts your sex drive, right? But I think what has happened is that a lot of us, for the most part, can't find the time. The time is what I often see a lot of persons complaining about, talking about. Can't bother with this, man, have enough time. Can't bother to do that, coming up with enough time. Can't bother go to the gym, coming up with enough time. Everything is about time. And that's something that persons individually have to manage their time. When it comes on to your health and your fitness, your wellness, it's important. You can't just be working all the days of your life and not take time out to make sure that number one is good, which is you. Being in shape isn't always about going to the gym, lifting weights, and doing the whole 9 yards. Could be just taking a walk, structure some time out your day to take a walk, whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon. Hikes, swimming, tennis, golf, any kind of sporting activity, or anything that causes you to get up out of your bed, out of your chair, out of your house, or even in home, you can do these things. But you just need to be moving, stay active. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, looking back, persons weren't as active as they are now. And then COVID came and hit us all. Now that was a rude awakening. That was a rude awakening. I never seen so many persons on a hill in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening when COVID hit. And that showed me that persons are now becoming more aware. Even importantly, persons got the time. Importantly, they got the time because everybody was at home doing nothing. So now they got the time to come out and work out. And on top of that, they were just gaining weights, putting on pounds like them live in England. Now, them start looking into themselves, looking into the mirror, and they're saying that, yo, when I like come looking, I want to change this, more for this. They brush up their eating habits, them start putting time for workout. It might not be as consistent as they want it to, but the time that you structure to do some work, to get some work in, is also beneficial to you. Doctors will tell you, some family members will tell you if they have the balls to. Some friends will tell you, rather than cuddle you and tell you that, no, when you look good. I mean, you might, but inside you, how is that? What is that? You get me? I am a hard driver. I think Victoria can attest to that. I push persons oftentimes because they find it hard to push themselves, right? And sometimes persons just need somebody to hold them accountable, and that's where my position as a personal trainer and a life coach comes into play, right? I see persons coming to the gym. They want to do something. They want to make a change. They want to make that step, but they come in and them just lost. They don't know what to do. They don't know how much of what they need to do they should do. They don't know what to eat, how much of what they need to eat they should eat, or what time to eat what they are eating. And some of the time they just need somebody to just say, hey, listen, man, try this, do this, come here, do this, do that, right? Rather than they just come in, look left, look right, look up, look down, twist and turn, spin them roll, and walk right through the door, right? It's my job when I have persons coming into me for training to assess them, find out what it is that you want, that they want, right? Because everybody have different body size, different body types, and because of that, we have different bodily goals. I ask, what is it that you want? Because I could want something for you, but it's not that you want for yourself. Understand though, it is going to get you in shape, it is going to get you fit, it's going to change your physique. But importantly, what is it that you want? Once you get that, then you ask yourself, how can I get there? And with everything, it takes some discipline, man. It takes some discipline, it takes some sacrifice, and it takes forming some good habits. Get rid of the old habits, form some new habits, right? I do a measurement depending on the goal that the clients want every month or every 2 weeks, just to see if it is that they're making progress. Find out where you are, ground level, how much you have on, what you used to weigh before you add on all of that weight, how you eat, how much of what you eat you are eating, what you drink, when you sleep, if you do sleep, because some persons don't or they find it hard to, right? Once I get that, we start the process of now. Finding a plan to get you to where you need to get to. All right. Sorry. So with that, persons oftentimes come in, they want to know, oh, party coming up. Want to get a 6-pack by X time, you know, or I have a birthday. I want to know if I can get another dress here by X time, and a wedding or soca. Yeah, soca coming up, and I want to know if I can by this time. I'm like, yo, no, and I saw, and I saw you go, you know, you get me, and I saw, and these persons, boy, it rough training them, it rough getting them to see things a little bit different than how they're seeing it, but it's hard to kind of have persons for a short while, training them, because they want that quick fix. You get me? They want quick fix. And sad to say, you don't have quick fixes in the gym, or especially when you're coming into workout. All right? What you do have is consistency. Consistency and discipline, and over time, you will see the improvements. Considering that, of course, you're taking in the proper nutrients, sorry, right? Persons want to come in, they want the 6-pack abs, they want the snatch waist, they want the big bottom, thick legs, and them somewhere and eating junk. Some persons will get away with it. Some won't, because again, of course, the different body types and body structure, right? But working out, staying in shape, keeping fit, have all the benefits. It makes no sense to you're killing out yourself, working so hard every day of the week, every month of the year, and you can't even hold up yourself. Can't even hold up yourself. People who hold you up. You don't look good. You don't look good. You get me? You don't look good. And what I want to say is that persons who are not in denial of the fact that they are out of shape and they want to be in shape, I like to work with those persons. Persons like those I like to work with. The others, of course, I'm trying to get them to come out of the denial. You get me? Try to get them out of the denial and say, hey man, listen, if it is that you want to look different, you want to feel different, then you're going to have to change something. You're going to have to change something, because what you're doing clearly hasn't been working. Clearly hasn't been working. So let's try something else. Let's try something different. Let's form new habits, right? This person I can convince to at least set 3 days out of the week, minimum 3 days. You don't need to do it Monday to Sunday. You just need 3 days, right? Whether it be Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It don't matter. Once you have 3 days minimum that is set aside, and everybody can do that. Everybody can do that. If you can find time to eat, You can find time for workout. You can find time to get in 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes of something, whether it be inside the home, outside on a hill, or in a gym if you can. Find 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. Do something that causes you to get your heart rate up. It can be skipping. It can be standing in space and just do like 100 air squats or 100 jumping jacks or 100 jogging on the spot, or just hold the plank position for like a minute or two. You get me? What that does is release endorphins. Everybody knows these hormones that the body releases when you're under stress. You get me? It helps reduce pain, reduce stress, and improve your mood. And over time, when you continue to do that, you'll start to see little changes in your physique, in your mood, even your posture. You probably start walking with an erectness. You know, you're not slouch over and look like you have the whole weight on your shoulder and you're leaning and catching all over the place. You'll be upbeat, pumping, because now you're doing something that the body wants and been longing for you to do. Working out does not have to be in the gym. Working out does not have to be with a group of persons, even though it helps, because some people need the motivation, some people need a challenge, and some people need a little kick. But what you want to do, or what I advise persons to do, is to make time for yourself. Make time for yourself. Take 20 minutes outside of the day, early morning or late evening or afternoon. Some persons are working from home now. It not kill you if you just push for the computer or put on the remote and just, you know what, every hour upon an hour or every 30 minutes in an hour, maybe just do like 10 jumping jacks, maybe 10 push-ups for the guys, them, you know, maybe 10 squats for the girls, them, you know. Help get yourself to where you need to by doing little bit of exercise activity every day. It not kill you. If anything, it extend your life. If anything, it extend your life by doing a little every day. All right. It's a talk. It's not a long talk, but you know, shed some light in on physical fitness and how it improves your life, how it improves your physique, how it improves your energy and your mood, your stress levels, and all of that.
All right. Thank you very much, Sheldon. Thank you for sharing all that light on health and fitness. And as he said, it takes us very little time. Can push out the computer and just take some time to exercise, you know? It's very important to our health. And if we want to have longevity in life, we have to make it a part of us, a very important part of our day-to-day activity. Now we're gonna take a 5 minutes break, and then after that we will be having our third exceptional speaker, Victoria Taylor. She will be talking about marketing your professional skills like a pro. So we're gonna just take a 5 minutes break, listen to some music, and then we'll get right back into it. Here now, of course, Victoria Taylor is a marketing consultant for over 5 years, representing companies in the US, Canada, and the Caribbean. She has created programs and methods which aim at marketing you or your business to reach its ultimate potential. You will realize in our presentation that taking action is key. How will you market your professional skills like a pro? Let the proactive and intuitive owner of VT Marketing, Victoria Taylor, give us some vital tips. Welcome, Victoria.
Hi, everyone. First off, thank you so much for that introduction. Secondly, they have conveniently decided to do construction by my window today, so I apologize for the sound in advance. I hope you guys will bear with me. You know, guys, earlier Sheree spoke about you making sure that you have multiple streams of income, making sure that you're not relying on one thing and you're being smart with your money. If there's one way to make money, it's from you. A lot of times people think that you need a product or you need something extremely like mind-blowing. Sometimes the most amazing thing that you can sell is your professional skill. Now, that can be whatever it is that you may offer. You may think you may be great at giving business advice. You may be into fitness like Harper. You may be a financial consultant like Sheree, or a marketing consultant like myself. A wide range of people can market and sell their skill and profit from it, especially if you're trying to figure out how can you do a business around it. So I'm going to show you just that. All right, so as you know, Victoria Taylor, marketing for 5 years. Let's get into it. All right, so first off, before I go into anything else, I want you guys to write this down. Write down these because it's important that you take action right after you finish this entire workshop, right? So write down what kind of business do you have, or what kind of business do you think you have in mind. And that business could be what your professional skills are. Maybe you're really good at sewing. Maybe you're really good at, I don't know, even setting up dates. That's also something you can make money off of. There's nothing too big or too small. It's all about your innovation and how creative you are with it. And then what's your niche? So is it fashion? Is it fitness? Is it events? Write down your niche. That's also really important. Do you have an online store, or do you want an online store, or do you want a website? Write that down. And then who do you want to serve? Who do you serve? So are you looking for, let's say, adults, mothers, teens, couples? And then how much have you generated in the past 90 days? So whether or not you've started your business or started promoting your skills, how much money have you made from this? Maybe you've done a little freelance, or maybe you help a friend on a one-off to plan an event and she gave you a little something. Write that down. And then write down how much you want to generate in the next 90 days. I want you to measure 3 months in the past and 3 months in the future, so that when you start implementing these marketing skills that I'm going to share with you, you're going to see a difference in how to approach. This is not an overnight get rich scheme. Every single thing that you do and every single thing in this workshop is about consistency and going for the bigger goal, right? So 90-day goals. 90-day goals, along with everything I'm going to cover in this, is going to talk about brand visibility, letting people know who you are and why they should invest in your brand. You are a brand. A lot of times we say a product is a brand because we know like Apple or Samsung, but famous people that we know are a brand. I don't remember his name, but he was a profile speaker and he'd always interrupt people. That's a part of his brand. That's his brand. Terry Carell, that's her brand, right? Usain Bolt, that's his brand. The people that we watch on the news all the time, they are a brand. They're packaged and delivered to you all the time. Even our minister of health, he is a brand, right? He's a hot boy who's all about health and all of these things, but that's his brand. So think about what your brand will be. Creating a community. You can't just sell to sell. The whole point is to have a community of people who believe in you, who want to buy from you or advocate for you. And that is something that goes along. When you meet somebody who is a professional speaker, they've done it so often that, people know them for it and they have a community. So one question I want to ask is how to market your professional skills. One is, how often do you market yourself online or on social media? And this is whether you're doing it casually or seriously, Next, you want it popped up. Next, you want to gain and retain clients. Getting new clients is great, but keeping them is even better. So gaining and keeping the clients who are now or have been a part of your community. So you see the structure for that 90-day goals. First, there's a brand, then there's a community, and then there's a client. You can't skip steps, right? You can't skip steps. You have to go in that order because that's how you last long in the game. Next is marketing and growth framework. Ensure that the systems and tools that you utilize are the most important assets of your business. This helps to deal with roadblocks, stopping you from making sales, being consistent, and connecting deeper with your brands. Now, what do I mean by the tools or systems? I'll get into it a little bit more, but if you're going to do this, if you're going to start marketing yourself, if you're going to take your business more seriously, you have to take inventory of things. I know that there are thousands of free and partially paid tools. And I know when you're starting out, you want to go with free, but there are some tools that are worth investing in if you want to go. If you want to keep on getting what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. That's a phrase by Les Brown. So if your business is going small and it's not making enough sales, if you're not getting enough clients, it means that you need to change up what you're doing. It may need that you need a new system or a new tool. So the main concept of creating that marketing and growth framework is, one, defining your niche. Earlier before, one of the questions was, what is your niche? If you can't answer that question, that's okay, but you do need to answer it. A lot of people say a niche is important, a niche is not important. I would say it's 50-50 in that. So one, a niche is important because you need to know who do you serve is the question that you need to answer. So a niche could be as general or as specific as possible, but you do need to be in a niche. And a lot of people will be like, oh, so I'm a fashion designer. Okay, who do you make clothes for? I make clothes for everyone. The thing is, a lot of us don't want to buy from brands that sell to everyone unless it's a supermarket, a hardware store, or even a grocery store, right? You want somebody that's specific. So think about a clothing store that you go to, right? Or an online store that you like to shop on. They provide specific types of clothes for specific type of girls. You know, the baddies who are on a budget will shop on Fashion Nova. You know, the girls who like to look cute and pretty will go on Pretty Little Thing. They have the niches. They're both in fashion, but they've specified their niche to who they want to attract, who do they want to serve. Likewise, right? Burgers for people who want a wide variety of color, right? Rapid True Value is for people who want to shop uptown for hardware stuff that's a little bit too pricey, while there are other hardware stores that have their niche and they cater to a certain demographic. Having that niche plays in part with who you attract, who you serve, who you want to sell to. Then it goes into problems and solutions. In what way are your skills or products serving or saving people? Everybody buys a product because they want to solve a problem or have a solution. It doesn't matter how simple it is. You want to buy a laptop, or you want to buy a new laptop because you want new features. You want to get an event planner because you do not want to plan your event. You want to get a financial consultant because you have a problem managing your finances, or you want to find a solution to get there better. There's always a problem, and you need to find out what that problem is and how you can provide that solution. It doesn't matter how simple it is, because people are always looking for products that solve problems. It could be a summer dress. I don't want the dress too long. I don't want the dress too short. You find the perfect dress, that's solving my problem, right? Next is, what is your brand? Again, this is super, super important because you are your brand sometimes, or you can create a brand persona, or you could have a brand specifically for your business if you're selling products or a specific type of service. So who or what is your brand? Please don't use the word unique. One of the things that lets me know when someone doesn't know what their brand is when they're like, oh, my brand is unique. Every single thing in the world is unique. Some things and most are not. So just defining your brand as unique or different, it's not a big differentiator, right? I'm sorry to say, but if you use that to define your brand, you're not that special. You're actually like everybody else. People who are different or unique have a specific way of defining what their brand is, right? My brand only caters for the girls who want to go on yachts, or my brand caters for the girls who are on a budget and they want to look fly and hot, but look expensive at the same time. Different ways of phrasing it. That's what your brand's for. Or my brand is luxurious, or my brand is homegrown. You have to be very specific. Do not use generalized words like awesome, different, or etc. A lot of business owners who are starting out or who don't know their brand use that word. It's unique, it's different. And most times when they start explaining it, it's not really that different. Right, next slide. So a part of that marketing and growth is a marketing funnel. Not to get too technical because I'm trying to keep it as general as possible, but when you start marketing your skills, and you have also experienced this, you go through a marketing funnel. Sometimes you'll skip some of the funnels, sometimes you'll be here and then you'll go back up. So there's awareness, decision, action, and retention. So let's say, I'll walk you through, you see a pair of headphones that you want, or you're looking for a pair of headphones, you go online, you're now aware of these headphones called green headphones. You build awareness, but then you decide, I want to look on other headphones and see the prices or see the reviews. You're in the decision stage. Then you realize green headphones actually has the best price, best features. Okay, I'm going to add it to my cart. I'm going to buy it. Boom. You're in the retention stage. Woo. Retention stage. You go through that marketing funnel either months in advance, months, weeks, days, or seconds. But you go through this process every single time you're about to purchase something. When you see a new snack in the supermarket, I wonder what this snack is. You look on the package, look at the flavor, add it to the cart, go to the cashier, check it out. You went through that funnel just a lot faster than you would with other things, but you still go through it. So I want you, when you're marketing yourself and when you're going through it, you also need to think of, what are these areas or touch points that people are going to go through when they interact with me, when they decide that I am the professional who's going to solve their problems? Because if you're just thinking, okay, let me just push all it on social media, let me just do this, you're at the top of the funnel. You haven't gone anywhere else. And we're going to touch a little bit on how you can break down this funnel, but I want you to keep this in mind. People are always going through this funnel. Next, I want to put a reminder that branding is much more than the logo, right? Branding is all about your senses, right? How you make people feel, how they can easily recognize you or group you with the best. And lastly, how do they identify you? Your branding is so important. It can be light and simple. There are some brands, right? You'll see a video on social media. You know this is probably from one of your favorite accounts. There are some things you know this is from this brand. This is Grace. This is KFC. This is XYZ. And you don't need to say a logo. Branding is not your logo. Your logo is a part of branding. There are so many things you can do where you don't even need to add your logo to it. Just like if you have a Windows computer, you know, when you start it up, you hear, I don't know, if you're a 90s kid, you hear, and you know that's a Windows laptop. But you know, if you turn on a Mac, you're not going to hear anything like that. And you know, like if you have a notification on your phone, Samsung and iPhones have different notifications, but you can associate that brand with the notification. So simple ways that it goes beyond just your logo. So when you're starting a company, when you have your brand, don't spend so much time on your logo. Your logo is important, but it's not the most important thing. There are other aspects. There's a color, there's a text, there's a language. Again, your branding is supposed to attract who you want to purchase from you. So if you're high end, your branding has to be high end, not just your logo, but your branding has to be high end, right? How you present yourself. If you are trying to be feminine, your branding has to be feminine. If you want to be neutral, gender neutral, it has to appeal to both genders. You have to think about these things. That's why there are people who have professions, because it goes a lot deeper than what you think. All right, so next, let me just hide this up. So next we have redefine your client avatar. So what's your client avatar? It's a fancy word for your ideal customer. Now, why we use client avatar is because we want you to not just think of, okay, ideal customers. I want you to zone in on who you can get the most sales from. And this is one of the reasons why I say you should niche down and you should understand your brand. Because when you do that, you realize these are the type of people that I want to attract. This is where I'm going to make the most money, right? Where as much as you're going into your purpose and you're doing your profession and you're creating this framework for all of that, you want to make money. I believe in making money from the people who are going to pay you the most. For example, again, branding and your marketing. If you decide that a bar of soap that you create from scratch, from the purest ingredients, is going to cost, let's say, 5,000 Jamaican dollars, and this soap will take care of any skin ailment anyone might have, it's $5,000. If you define your client as anyone, then when anyone comes to you and they're like, oh, your price is too high, what are your options? Either you're going to lower it or you're going to lose anyone. But if you decide, okay, Becky B is my client, And someone who is similar to Becky B comes and she says, oh, your soap is $5,000, but it's this, I'm going to buy it. So when you define who your ideal client is, you are going to funnel through the people you don't want, and you're going to keep the people you do want, because either they'll come and they'll leave and they'll come back, or they'll come and they'll purchase right away. But defining your character also helps you to know who are the people who are going to waste your time when you have your business. Because there are people who are going to be interested in your business. They're going to ask you a million questions. They're going to do all of these things. But guess what? They're not going to purchase from you because they're not your client. And when you can identify people, right, from the get-go, you know not to waste your time, because time is money. Some people, and there are very, exemptions to the rule. Some people will surprise you, but not many, right? So you want to recreate your client avatar with clarity. So you only choose actions. You're only choosing actions, tools, and tactics that contribute to your success. So if a certain type of demographic you're doing event planning, that means you need to be in the event space, right? You need to be going out to parties, you need to be meeting people, you need to go to spaces where you're going to meet clients who want what you have to offer. Likewise, if you're a fitness person, you need to go to the places where people are looking for fitness people, right? Ensuring that you use your time, money, and energy where you'll make the most money. Very important. I don't know about you, but I like making money and I don't like wasting my time. So who am I selling to? It could be Peter, Lisa, Tom, or Orville. Or Orville, right? But you need to have a picture in your mind of who you're selling to, because you're going to have to communicate that. Whether you're a one man or one woman team, you're going to have to communicate that to yourself over and over. And when you start working with other people, when you don't have a clear idea of who you're selling to and who your brand is, that's where the confusion comes. That's where you don't get things that you want. You don't get graphics, pictures, or whatever it is that you don't want. So to avoid that, have a clear vision of who am I selling to? Right, so define your audience. Who are these people? And a lot of people will say, oh, you have to do age, location, blah, blah, blah. That's just one of the 5 ways that you can define your client. You can actually do, I like psychographics. So it's where you define the mindset that the person has before they get to you, right? Or how they're going to find you. So where can I find my audience? So psychographics is where this person, let's say for my client, this is a female entrepreneur. She wants to start an online business, but she's not sure how to. She's trying to do her online research, but she feels stuck. That's my target audience. And when I write that down, whatever type of content I do, whatever I post on social media, however I engage with my clients, I know she's starting from square one. So I need to make sure that every single bit of information is not going to overload her. I need to also make sure that she knows that I'm knowledgeable enough to invest more information if she wants to work with me, right? Likewise, again, the most universal thing, Pepsi or Coke. People who want to have excitement, right? Pepsi. People who want to make memories and they're reminiscing on the past, Coke, right? They have their 2 different people. It's a mindset. You can use mindset if you want, or you can use a typical age, gender, location. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes you can use a mixture of it, but do your research on it and find out. Again, having a clear idea is good. Then where can you find your audience? Is your audience going to in-person events? Are they on social media? Are they in groups? How are you going to find them? Because the build it and they will come mentality doesn't really work unless, you have $1 million pushing in ads. So definitely go to the spaces where your client, where your audience is. And then what problems do they have? Again, this is very, very important. Always focus on how you're solving a problem, right? It could be as simple as the perfect summer dress or as great as the perfect summer workout. You're trying to solve a problem. You're offering a solution. Then lead generation and nurturing tactics. So lead generation itself is how you can get potential customers. So lead generation can be like this webinar. This webinar is something like this, or an email. Let's say that you go on a website and a pop-up comes like, hey, if you want 10%, give me your name and your email. That's a lead generation tactic. We buck up on those all the time, so much it's normalized, but it's one of the ways companies can get our information, email us, share ads with us, or remarket to us so that we can become paying customers. So most people focus so much on selling that they forget to focus on how to gain, retain, and maintain customers for their business. And this includes lead generation. There are research, test, and try timeless lead generation tactics, and there are multiple. I've written an article on 50 plus lead generation tactics. You have options, right? That you can start implementing to start seeing sales in your business. One popular way, if you're really, really heavy on social media, contests. Have you ever seen contests in that you have to follow and like? That is a lead generation tactic. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to require a whole bunch of tools. It's just how you present it and being smart with it. So remember that funnel from earlier? You remember that funnel from earlier where we talked about awareness, decision, action, retention? Well, it's a part of the lead generation funnel. So the awareness is the social media, the webinars, the ads. And then the decision is the content marketing. So when I say content marketing, what is that? It could be blogs, articles, reviews, videos, everything that has to do with content to just show all the information about what you have to offer. And that's why a lot of times when you see these individuals who are consultants or experts in fields, they're pushing out a lot of videos, a lot of content, because they want to bring people from this funnel to this funnel, or people are moving in between this funnel to decide before they come down here. But the point is, you've been there too. So you want to see all the information that's possible. You don't want to find a perfect example. You don't want to go on Amazon and then see nothing listed about the product. There's no reviews. You're not buying that. There's no way you're buying that unless you're ready to waste your money. So likewise, people will research you and find out, okay, what are some of the events that you've done? You know, what's the information that she shares on her page? You know, is she reachable? What do people say about her? This is the decision stage. They're deciding if they want to be with you. Then the lead generation, you take their name and number, you take their name and their email, you let them follow you on social media, you start building up a community and having people decide, okay, let me see how much this costs, how much does that cost? And then they move down to the retention stage, which is referral, payment, and tribe. Notice I did not reuse the word community because there's a slight difference, and this is just my personal example, explanation, is a community is just a group of people. They all have they strongly believe in one thing. But if you think about a community of people, they live in the same area, they say hi and bye, they gather on the same interests. But a tribe, I would say, is a little bit more tight-knit. When you have a tribe or a clan, it's like your paris, they're with you to the end, right? So this is the section where you want people to be, where they're constantly coming back for you, coming back for more. They're constantly referring to you. They've paid you for your service. They're leaving reviews. And this is how you want people to walk through when you start marketing yourself. So breaking it all down so that you see what really happens. And guess what? Again, sit down and think about the ways that your favorite people, your favorite brands walk you through this exact funnel, because it happens to you a lot more than you think. So LG funnels, lead generation funnels, and systems, FAQ and content plus updating your content. These are systems that you should implement, and you don't have to do all of them. It all depends on if you're service-based or product-based, right? So it's a mixture. So FAQ, frequently asked questions and content, right? Social media content and scheduling, email contact and information, booking and calendar software, client onboarding system, tracking and updates, payment systems, right? You want to make sure that you're getting paid. Let's say that instead of letting people pay one big bulk, they do 50% before you start work and 50% after. You want to have a system in place to keep that. Nobody wants to not get paid. A retention system. So after people purchase a product from you or purchase a service from you, how do you follow up with them? What are the tools that you're using to make sure that you're getting back to them? Because after people buy from you, you want them to leave a review. You want them to leave a referral, because that's going to help you to get more customers. Then track, review, and grow, which we'll talk about in a few slides. Tracking, reporting, and growing. This is the boring part of marketing and business that most people don't like, because you're so busy doing, you don't want to sit down and track all those things. It takes the fun out of it. And I can tell you for a fact, I've been doing it for years. It is very boring, but it is a necessary evil. So once you've made the changes in your business and brand based on things that I've shared, focus on how to track, report, and use the results to help you grow. Because if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're doing or how you're growing, how will you know what you need to do differently or keep on doing? Yes, you can post something and, oh, it gets 100 likes, so I should do this. But what about something else that might be off social media that may be helping you grow? Or maybe you're focused on online when there's something offline that can help you to grow as well. Allowing you to build better relationships. This allows you to build better relationships with your current customers, sell effectively to attract new customers, and fine-tune your customer journey, which is a funnel that we saw. You can start one strategy and change it the next. It's all up to you, but it's ever growing, just like you as a person, just like your business. So what am I tracking? Again, it's based on whether you're service-based, product-based. You can follow these, or it could be more or less, but you can start with the basics, which is followers and engagement, number of inquiries versus clients. So let's say that you start the month and you realize 30 people ask you, but only five people booked your service or 5 people bought from you. That means if you want to increase the number of people who are going to buy and book from you, you need to push that 30 to 60 so you can get 10. Doing the maths, it helps, right? Your clients plus your funds. If you realize that you get 20 sales, but you're not making enough to even pay yourself or even buy ingredients, it means you probably need to up your price. Or if you notice that, oh, all I need is, if you're doing a service, all I need is 5 clients a month in order for me to just, make a lot of money. That means you focus on just getting 5 people to say yes to you, right? Opportunities and events. If you notice that you're not getting invited to any events or people are not asking you to do things, okay, let's change that. Now you realize 2 people per month invite you to a show, invite you to an event, invite you to this. That's something that you should also take note of, because the more people know about you offline and online, the more people can start in your funnel and become your paying customer. Website traffic, retention. So retention and referrals is very important. If you notice that you're getting paid customer, but they leave you and they never come back to you, or they never bring referrals, that is an issue. But if you notice that they come back to you, or they bring more people, or they're part of your tribe, that's something you should measure as well. And that's it. Again, we can go way deeper. I can talk about this for hours, but I will not. Instead, I want to open the floor up to any questions that you might have, anything that you might share. I know it was a lot, but let me know. I know you have questions. Don't be shy.
So one of my greatest concern has been pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you charge for your time? Because based on what I've started my business recently, but I'm focusing mainly on yeast-based products. And you know that yeast-based product takes a lot of time. If you want to put out one batch, it might take you at least 5 hours to get a batch of 12 out. So apart from looking at the ingredients and comparing the prices that are in the supermarket, how do you, what is the strategy to charge, to include your time in your prices?
Okay, that's a really good question. So one, I would want to ask a few questions for you before I give my answer is, are you the only person who's making, I see that it's pastries. Are you the only person making these pastries yourself?
Yes, for the most part, but sometimes I have my husband who assists, but on a minimal scale. So for the most part, it's me.
No, husband is free labor, so that's perfectly fine. Okay, so I would say at a certain stage, you want to make sure that 1, you're getting back the money for your ingredients, and 2, you're making a profit. In order for you to be able to pay yourself for your time, it would kind of be twofold, where 1, that would be a price increase. Would that price increase make your products less appealing? Because when people are buying pastries, it can't be too expensive depending on what the pastry is. And 2, you might not want to pay for your time per se, but you either might want to cut the time in half because you've just started. So you can't really get paid full for your time as yet. So I would say calculate the time it would take to make it, right? What kind of salary would you want? And then divide that like down to the day, like how many hours would it take? And then find out how many units would you have to sell in order for you to give yourself a full 8 hours worth of pay, right? So let's say that you're doing 4 hours of baking or 8 hours of baking. So that would give you an idea of, okay, maybe I need to scale up if I actually want to get paid for how much time it is. Because if you're doing it now on a smaller scale, you're honestly not going to be getting paid for I'm just saying 8 hours as an example, the 8 hours that you're doing it. You're probably just going to get paid to get back your ingredients and a little bit of profit margin. So if the more you scale, the more you get paid, unless you're doing very, very expensive or niched pastries that justify an expensive or exorbitant cost, or you're doing catering for a company. Those are one of the ways that you can kind of learn to price it. But it's also, I would also say your pricing is never stuck, right? You can always find ways to collaborate with people to increase your pricing, increase your brand awareness. But when it comes to products, volume and profits go hand in hand. I hope that helps.
Yes, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I would also say, again, you know, one, when it comes to products, the best thing that I would tell people when they have products is, yes, selling to individual people is great, but maybe you want to do it on a larger scale. Maybe you want to supply a restaurant, because then you can charge a set cost and give a set amount of pastries, and that would be able to give you more profit. Or maybe you can work with a catering company where you give them a certain amount of units and you have that cost in there. Or again, you can find a deli or a restaurant that you can give in, because the more units you sell, the more profit you can margin into it, right? Okay, I think Andrew Smith says, does this apply for books? If you are selling books or if you're an author, yeah, books are a product. Yes, all of this does apply to books. Again, I said the metrics and some of the lead generation tactics would be changed based on what you're doing. But yes, this would be applied to books. And the same thing with pricing, the volume of the books, right? Or the cost of the books, because you know, some books cost more than others. That's going to affect also how much you make as well. So if you're selling $5 books and you're only selling $5 books, you can only make so much money. But if you're selling a wide range of books, or books that are expensive, or you're having a package, or again, you're having partnerships, that's one way to increase your profits. You have to get a little bit more creative when you have products. What if the market, Kimberly Tate says, what if the market does not respond well to your price increase? That's a very good possibility. And what it says is that price is a signal to the people you want to attract. There are people who are willing to pay the price that you have to offer. It's now your job to find them, because if you've increased the price and your market is not happy with it, that also means that you need to, one, either have a two-part, like for example, Shein has basic Shein, but Shein has a luxury brand, and the luxury brand is 10 times more expensive than the basic Shein. You know, Shein has $5, but they have another one called Motive where one shirt is for $70. So maybe you might want to create 2 tiers, one for people who want a lower price, one for people who want a higher price. And then another option would be, maybe you just change your marketing and your direction altogether and go to the space where people are going to actually buy from you and get rid of the clients who are going to have a problem with your price. It's easier said than done, but it is very, very possible. What percentage is good enough for your profit for each product? I cannot answer that question because I don't know what the product is. And there are a few other things, but I would say calculate how you can break even. If you have a product and you're selling a product, knowing your break even is very important. Your break even is going to show you how many units you need to sell in order for you to make a profit. And you can really play around with your profit percentage to see, okay, how much should I charge with this? How much should I charge with that? And then, oh, will you get a copy of this presentation? Yes, 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 you will. Um, is there anyone who has any other questions? So
Nordia has a question.
oh, okay.
Hi, Victoria. Awesome presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
I'd like to, find out more about how I can go about marketing my services as a virtual assistant. So today is like my last day at work because I've decided that I'm gonna take a leap of faith and do my virtual assistant business full time. But I'm not that savvy on marketing at the moment. So I wanted just some advice on how to go about like putting a marketing plan together for someone who isn't that knowledgeable about the topic. Um, so I can move forward, get the clients, the retention, and all the good stuff that you've spoken about.
Okay. First thing I would say, especially if you're service-based, spend time before you start marketing yourself to set up your systems. So what software are you going to use to onboard your clients, right? How are you going to display your information? Do you have a website? A website is very important, right? Your website should have who you are, any additional information, answering FAQs, right? Questions that people might have, having a layout of what you provide, packages and services, and they should be able to reach out to you too. The website also works in case somebody wants to share information, or if people are asking you commonly asked questions on your social, you can just share it with them. It's your online space, it's your directory that you have control over. So having a website, creating the onboarding process, and then two, I would say start doing content, which is very consistent. But when you do content, I would say create a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is this little freebie that you put online that you get people's email and contact information with. So it could be an ebook, it could be a checklist, but it has to be a lead magnet that is for your ideal customer, not for other
Right.
virtual assistants, right? Has to be something. What's the problem that they have the most when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant or when it comes to managing their business? Give them that free checklist, give them somewhere where they can, okay, Nordia really knows what she's talking about. If I see this little bit of free information and it's giving me what giving me something what I want, I'm gonna get more if I pay her. So that freebie is also there. It could also be a video as well, access to a video of you explaining certain things on how they can organize their life better.
Right.
Two, I would say, I said two already. Three, I would say niche to who do you want to be a virtual assistant to? If you're a virtual assistant to everyone, it's gonna make a lot of things much harder. It's very tempting, but find out who do you want to be a virtual assistant to, because there are people who want specific virtual assistants for specific things, right? There are doctors who want virtual assistants. There are fashion designers, wedding planners, people who are in software companies who want virtual assistants. And when you do that, it's going to make your content more concise. Because if I'm somebody who works in tech and I need a virtual assistant, I'm going to look at, Nordia A, who's advertising to everyone. I'm like, okay, but Nordia B, who's advertising to people, like if you have a software company and you need somebody who's very versatile and agile, I'm this person. I'm going to go to Nordia B to give my work to Nordia B. Or it could be a virtual assistant to people who do marketing. That's great, because I want you to help me with marketing, or I want someone who has some verse in marketing help me with my company. So decide who do you want to serve your services to specifically as well. That's going to also affect your onboarding. That's going to help you to find out where people are, because maybe it means you're going to have to go to a couple of virtual or in-person tech events. I'm using tech as an example. Tech events, right? Or you're gonna go on LinkedIn and you're gonna find groups where people are like managers or project managers for certain things. You can join that group, introduce yourself, get to know their needs and wants, use it as your space to learn information, to create content, or even to get clients.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty. Now, since there are no more questions, unfortunately, our fourth speaker, Venice Anderson Facey, she has had some unforeseen circumstances and emergencies, so she will not be able to present today. However, I hope you all learned a lot from this session from all three of us. And I thank you all for attending this event today. As I said before, you will receive a recording of this session within the next 48 hours. Denisha, you have a question?
No. I was just applauding you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. And we will be having a second edition of A Better You 2022 next month. So I hope you are able to join and you have a spectacular rest of your day and weekend. All right. Take care, everyone.